Magandang hapon, Pilipinas. Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja, na bumabati sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig sa DZRH at sa lahat ng nanonood sa RH-TV, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga kasamahang alagad ng sining at kultura sa buong bansa. Kadalasan kasama sa ating mga New Year's resolution ang I will travel to... ang ating dream destination. Para sa akin, I will travel to Machu Picchu. Gosh. Lalo na ngayon, kabi-kabila ang mga seat sales ng mga airlines, talaga namang nakakahikayat na lumarga at magbakasyon sa iba't ibang dako ng Pilipinas o ng ibang bansa. Pero sana hindi naman puro shopping lang ang gagawin ninyo. Maraming mga hidden treasures na pwedeng madiskubre sa inyong pagbiyahe na di naman kailangan ng malaking budget para dito. Kaya sa hapong ito, makinig kayong mabuti sa mga travel tips on cultural tourism na ibabahagi ng ating espesyal na panauhin, ang Vice President ng Heritage Conservation Society at sikat na travel blogger na si Ivan Henares.
Bilang isang travel writer at heritage advocate, napuntahan na ni Ivan Anthony Henares ang lahat ng 80 lalawigan sa Pilipinas. Maagang napukaw ang kanyang interes sa kulturang Pilipino, kung kaya't habang nasa kolehiyo pa, ginawaran siya ng Most Outstanding Kapampangan for Youth Leadership noong 2001 dahil sa kanyang pagtulong na palawakin ang kulturang tungkol sa mga kapampangan. Nagtapos siya ng elementary at high school mula sa Ateneo de Manila University, samantalang nakuha naman niya ang kanyang Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Master of Business Administration at Diploma in Urban and Regional Planning mula sa Universidad ng Pilipinas sa Diliman. Naging City Tourism Officer siya ng San Fernando, Pampanga, kung saan inilunsad niya ang Preserving Heritage Program na nagwagi ng Galing Pook Trailblazing Program Award noong 2004. Si Ivan ang kasalukuyang Vice Presidente ng Heritage Conservation Society. Isa rin siyang expert member at Philippine representative sa International Cultural Tourism Committee ng International Council on Monuments and Sites o COMOS. Bukod dito, nagtuturo siya sa Asian Institute of Tourism ng UP Diliman at tumatayong tourism consultant ng Northern Philippines Visitors Bureau. Editor siya ng Northbound Magazine at meron ding award-winning travel blog, ang Ivan About Town, kung saan nakatala ang kanyang mga travel articles. Isang mainit na pagbati ang hatid ng Art2art sa conservation advocate at travel guru na si Ivan Henares.
Magandang hapon, Ivan, and welcome to Art2art.
Magandang hapon sa iyo, Lisa, at salamat sa inyong pag-anyaya dito sa palabas ninyo.
True to your biography, ikaw ay kagagaling lang straight from the airport from Korea.
Oo nga
this
eh.
time.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
Hindi ka ba napapagod?
Well, nakakapagod din. Siyempre, tao rin tayo at kapag lalo na't gusto mong suyurin lahat, talagang mapapagod ka. No? You really need time to recover as well.
Okay, speaking of your great travel adventure sa Pilipinas, ikaw lang ata yung kauna-unahang tao na nakapagbiyahe nakapagbisita sa bawat 80, how many is it?
80
provinces.
Well,
80 probinsya ng Pilipinas.
Hindi naman siguro ako yung pinakauna. I'm sure marami, lalo na yung mga politiko, pag nangangampanya sila sa election, I'm sure nabibisita nila yung mga yan. Pero, well, I could consider myself one of the few no, na nakapag... ikot na sa 80 probinsya ng Pilipinas sa tourist, no, at talagang pinupuntahan ko yung mga attractions sa mga probinsya natin dito sa Pilipinas.
Okay, so paano mo nagawa yon? And how long? Gaano katagal yung pagbiyahe mo sa 80 provinces?
Of course, I mean, I've been visiting the different provinces since I was a kid, no? But it really started siguro mga 2009 that I really 2007, 8, 9 that I wanted to visit all the provinces. So last year, no, 2010, doon ko natapos yung 80 probinsya ng Pilipinas. I really made it a goal na kailangan may makita ako sa mga probinsya natin dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi lahat ng probinsya merong ipagyayabang na yaman, lalo na, no, it can be cultural, it can be natural, no, na pwede ipagmayabang as a tourist attraction.
So, wait, paano yung proseso? Ang ginawa mo ba ay lumipad ka tapos nag-land travel ka? Bumabalik ka ba ng Maynila periodically while
kasi
you were doing
syempre
this?
hindi ko maiwanan yung ginagawa ko dito sa Maynila. So it wasn't really a journey na tuloy-tuloy, but rather it was kapag meron akong time, lilipad ako doon sa isang lugar. And then syempre may mga probinsya na wala namang airport, and they're only either accessible through land or by sea, ano. So yun yung mode of transportation ko habang umiikot. Talagang nasubukan ko yung mga iba't ibang klaseng mode of transportation.
So meron kang listahan tapos tinitake off mo
Yes,
isa-isa yung mga
oo.
probinsya
Meron
na
akong
yun?
may checklist ako
Okay.
ng mga
So
napuntahan na.
Ano yung 80th province na pinuntahan mo?
Well, kasi last year, no, 79 yung probinsya. Yung huling naapakan ko was Masbate. Tapos naging probinsya ulit yung Dinagat Islands.
Okay.
So, buti na lang, nabisita ko siya nung December. So, 2010. So, nabisita ko rin lahat ng 80. So, technically speaking, Dinagat would have been the last province that I visited.
I see. Okay. Menunal ka ba sa Talampakan?
Hindi ko alam, pero ever since I really wanted to travel, talagang
Ever
hilig.
since you were a child?
Yeah, ever since I was young, I remember, well, in a way, na-encourage din ako ng parents ko, lalo na ng mom ko. Kasi when I was 5 years old, we went to Japan and to Taipei. And my mom asked me to write about the trip. So I have a journal in my own handwriting.
Sinundan mo yung nanay mo? Ano sinasabi ko yun sa mga anak ko pag nagbabiyahe kami, gumawa kayo ng travel log, travel diary, magsulat kayo araw-araw, pero hindi nila ginagawa.
It was difficult, but of course my mom encouraged me to do it. And kaya meron ako, in fact, yung may mga illustrations pa ako with crayons and of what I saw during the trip. So that basically started parang my interest to actually document all my trips, no. So every time we travel, well documented lahat ng mga trips namin. And I started blogging in 2005. It was just for friends to read, since it was my first backpacking trip, in a sense na talagang budget siya. First time kasi dumating yung mga budget airlines dito at nag-seat sale. So, I remember getting a ticket to Malaysia, Kota Kinabalu, for less than 1,000 pesos round trip. So, doon nag-umpisa yung talagang sunod-sunod na. So, tas naging budget airline din ng Cebu Pacific. So, mas lalo naging madali for us to actually go around. And all the other airlines followed suit, no? So, it made it easier for Filipinos to actually access a lot of places which were not previously as accessible as it is today.
Okay, so siguro yung passport mo, ang dami ng tatakan.
Medyo medyo bugbog na siya.
So, paano mo ginagawa ang, your typical, yung karaniwan mong pagbiyahe? Pinaplano mo ba ito? Is it according to your budget? Is it according to your free time?
Yes.
Is it according to your travel blog? Kung ano yung dapat mong i-feature? Explain to us yung process.
There are a lot of factors. Of course, free time is one. No? I'm not a full-time blogger. There are a lot of full-time bloggers, but I don't do that full-time since I have a lot of other activities. No? So it depends on free time. Number two, of course, you have to plan the budget. No? But my trips are sometimes planned, sometimes they're unplanned. No? Sometimes I'd have a ticket and say, sige, I'll just decide what to do when I get there. I start asking around when I'm there. But of course, there are places na I start reading about the destination before I actually go there. Kasi, syempre, kapag, lalo na yung mga long-haul flight, gusto mo nakaplano lahat nung gagawin mo. Kasi hindi mura yung mga long-haul flight. So, kailangan masulit mo yung ticket mo.
Yes,
So, it's...
meron ngayon yung mga reality travel, mga documentaries na pinapalabas ngayon sa TV na yung mga hidden, yung mga hindi pangkaraniwang nakikita ng isang tourist sa pagbiyahe mo dun sa lugar na yon. Is that your specialty as well?
Well, yes and no. Sometimes, kasi for you to be able to do that, sometimes you have to stay in a place long enough because more often than not, it's not the case all the time, but more often than not, yung mga hindi pangkaraniwang, kailangan you have to really search deep inside the country.
Kailangan mong kausapin yung mga locals.
Kailangan mo kausapin yung mga locals. No? Sometimes the research, it would take several days of, going around and, asking around, ano bang makikita dito? Where else can I go? And then, of course, when you travel to these places, it's not as easy as the usual destination because, of course, if it's the usual destination, transportation should be readily available. But if these are off-the-beaten-track destinations, you have to plan that as well. No? So, it's really a mix.
Okay. So, paano ka unang na-involve naman sa Heritage Conservation?
Heritage Conservation Society, actually it was in 2001 that I got involved in the Heritage Conservation Advocacy. I was in San Fernando, Pampanga at the time, which is my hometown. Although I grew up in Manila. No? And I got to meet the mayor there and we talked about, I was telling him that there are so many ancestral houses in San Fernando that are worth preserving. So he liked the idea and we actually enacted an ordinance creating a heritage district in the town. So my advocacy started locally, in San Fernando. We were able to create a program that actually was recognized by several award-giving bodies. No? And from there, of course, it moved to the national na. So what I started in Pampanga were basically the advocacy became national.
Pero bahagi ka na ng Conservation Society
yes,
at that time.
Well, I was a member at that time. In 2001, I was basically part of the email group and, I'd listen to stories of what's happening in other localities, lalo na dito sa Manila, no? And from there, I got more involved, especially when I moved back from Pampanga to Manila because I took my master's here back in Manila, so I had to move back and I became more involved with the organization.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that.
Yes.
Marami pa po tayong pag-uusapan kasama ang conservation advocate at travel writer na si Ivan Henares dito pa rin sa Art2art. Magbabalik po kami pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Programang hatid ay sining at kulturang para sa lahat. Magbabalik ang Art2art. Schedule ng mga inaabangang konsyerto. Update sa mga magagandang panoorin sa mga tanghalan at teatro. Narito na ang Art2art Calendar.
Narito ang ating Arts Calendar. Sa teatro, sisimulan ng Repertory Philippines ang pagdiriwang ng kanilang 45th year ngayong 2012 sa pagtatanghal ng kanilang produksyon ng Next Fall. Simula January 13 alas 8 ng gabi sa On Stage Theater, Greenbelt, Ayala Center, Makati City. Sinulat ng playwright na si Jeffrey Knotts. Ang Next Fall ay tungkol sa isang modern gay relationship sa pagitan ni Luke at Adam. Ang dula ay tumatalakay din sa mga tema ng pananampalataya at pag-ibig. Tampok sa pangunahing papel sina Bart Gingona bilang Adam, isang atheist, at si David Blanco bilang Luke, isang born-again Christian. Magkakaroon din ng palabas sa January 14, 15, 20, January 21, 22, January 27, 28 at 29 at February 3, 4 at 5. Para sa ticket, tumawag sa 571-6926 or 571-4941 o mag-email sa info@repertory.ph. Magtatapos naman ang 25th theater season ng Tanghalang Pilipino, Resident Drama Company ng Cultural Center of the Philippines sa pagtatanghal ng Eyeball, New Visions in Philippine Theater. Tampok sa produksyon na ito ang 4 na pinakamagagaling na dula mula sa Virgin Lab Fest, ang taunang festival ng mga panibagong obra para sa entablado. Tema ng mga dula ang Searching o Paghahanap. Ipalalabas ang Eyeball bilang 2 set ng twin bills. Ang set A ay kinabibilangan ng bakit wala nang nagtatagpo sa Philcoa Overpass ni Carlo Paculor Garcia sa direksyon ni Ricky Benedicto at ng Doc Resurrection, Gagamutin ang Bayan ni Layeta Bukoy sa direksyon ni Tox Rotacchio. Ang Set B naman ay nagtatampok ng mga dulang dinerehe ni Chris Millado, ang Maliw ni Ruel Molina at ang Araw sa Karnabal ni Nick Pichay. Ang Eyeball, New Visions in Philippine Theater ay mapapanood mula January 13 hanggang February 12 tuwing weekend sa tanghalang Aurelio Tolentino ng CCP na matatagpuan sa Ross Boulevard, Pasay City. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, tumawag sa Tanghalang Pilipino at 832-3661. Sa pelikula, pinangalanan kamakailan lang ang mga finalists sa 2012 Cinemalaya Independent Film Festival and Competition. Ang 10 finalists sa New Breed Full-Length Feature category ay binubuo ng Ang Katiwala ni Aloy Adlawan, Ang Nawawala ni Marieta Maria Mora, Oros ni Paul Santa Ana, Apparition ni Vincent Sandoval at Darlene Malimas, Dayo ni Julius Sotomayor Sena, Diablo ni Mes de Guzman, Lola Igna ni Eduardo W. Roy Jr., MNL 143 ni Emerson Reyes, Rikim ni Loy Arsenas at Santa Nina ni Emmanuel Palo. Ang 5 finalists naman sa Directors Showcase ay ang Buakaw ni June Lana, Kalayaan ni Adolfo B. Alex Jr., Camera Obscura ni Raymond Red, Posas ni Jeffrey Jaturian at Mumunting Lihim ni Jose Javier Reyes. Ang Cinemalaya na nasa ika-8 taon na ay isang proyekto ng Cinemalaya Foundation, Cultural Center of the Philippines, Film Development Council of the Philippines at Econolink Investments Incorporated. Isasagawa ang festival mula July 20 hanggang July 29, 2012.
Usapang sining at kultura para sa lahat. Kasama ang balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja. Art2art.
Kasama pa rin po natin ang tanyag na travel writer, cultural advocate at Vice President ng Heritage Conservation Society na si Ivan Henares. Ivan, ano ba ang diferensya from cultural tourism to what you call it, ordinary tourism?
Well, it's not really ordinary tourism, but rather there are many, reasons. People travel for many reasons. No? May mga pupunta sa beach, may mga adventure tourists, yung mga nagtatrek sa bundok, or, they're surfing, people travel for various reasons. When you talk about cultural tourism, it's that branch of tourism where people travel to experience the culture of the place. No?
Okay.
It's really broad. No? You talk about food, you talk about indigenous people, you talk about the architectural heritage. No? Basically, you're there to understand or to experience yung kultura nga ng isang lugar. Kaya marami sa atin naglalakbay para nga ma-experience yung iba't ibang kultura.
Okay. And yun ba yung that's what made you interested in travel, is to experience the culture?
Definitely, no. I really like visiting old architecture. No, I really marvel at all these monuments and sites around the country and around the world, no, which is why I really, when I visit a country, I make sure to see the old architecture, because it makes you feel the place. That's why, I mean, when you look at the old architecture, you know where you are. No? Hindi tulad ngayon yung mga buildings nondescript na, tsaka walang character. Hindi mo ma-sense kung tignan mo yung litrato, hindi mo ma-sense kung saan ba ito. Kasi wala ngang character yung mga ginagawa natin ngayon, lalo na dito sa Pilipinas.
Mukhang pare-pareho.
Mukhang pare-pareho. Pero pag tinignan mo yung lumang arkitektura, alam mo, ay, ito sa vegan yan. Ito, alam mo, rice terraces yan, or sa Cebu yan. No? So, it's basically an indicator of, or it basically shouts the place. No?
Okay. So, 80 provinces sa Pilipinas, ano yung pinaka-memorable mong visit?
Marami, no? Maraming memorable.
Sa anong probinsya?
Marami. Well, Batanes is very memorable.
Okay.
It's one of those islands. Of course, it's quite isolated because there are like 1 or 2 flights a day lang. No? So not that many people get to it. But the architecture is intact. The old stone houses are still there. No, you get to see all the traditions of the Ivatans. No, one of my other favorite trips was I went to the Agusan Marsh and I stayed overnight with the Manobos in Sitio Panlabuhan. Basically floating houses yan. So from the jump-off point, it's a 3-hour riverboat ride to get into the marsh. Tapos yung mga floating houses, walang kuryente. But you're one with nature, you get to see all the wildlife and you get to experience the culture. Kasi pagdating mo doon, may mga rituals pa sila to ask permission for your presence. In fact, dahil sa experience na yun, nakausap ko yung local community doon. Nakagawa kami ng 3 tour groups and they're actually excited na magkaroon ulit ng bisita doon sa lugar nila, sa Agusan del Sur. And of course, Sulu. No?
Na-mention mo nga, exciting yung Sulu. Okay.
Siyempre, safety-wise, it was a big risk. I mean, kasi you're obviously an outsider, no? You don't speak the language. Kasi, I mean, kung taga dun ka, madaling lumabas at pumasok, walang problema. Pero kung outsider ka, medyo halatang-halata na outsider ka. Kaya, I had to make a lot of preparations. I had to contact people na para may sumama sa akin. So talagang may mga nagpapasalamat niya ako dun sa sa mga sumama sa akin while I was in Sulu. They took me around and what's sad about the situation of Sulu is they have some of the best beaches in the country. Quezon Beach in Paticol, Sulu is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful beaches.
Pero natatakot ang mga taong pumunta
yes,
dito.
And I really would not suggest that they do go because it's not yet ready, it's not yet safe. In fact, when we went to Paticol, we went to Quezon Beach, and I said, wow, what a beautiful beach. When we got back to Jolo, the friends of my host asked me, oh, where did they take you? Oh, we went to Quezon Beach. And everyone was shocked. Said, you went there? And then, dinala mo siya doon? Sabi ko, bakit? Sir, doon nangyari yung kidnapping at saka yung beheadings this year. So sabi ko, okay. So, but it's a really sad thought na Sulu could actually earn a lot from tourism. In fact, not just tourism, even yung agriculture nila. Kasi lalo na yung mga fruits, When I was there, yung mga kaing ng lansones, 70 pesos yung malaking basket na ganon. Mangosteen, 30 pesos yung isang yung I don't know what they call it, but yung basically
isang tangkay.
Basta yung string na mahaba na ganon, it could earn so much from visitors that kung maayos lang natin yung security situation doon, we could actually uplift the lives of the locals of Sulu. In fact,
sana binabasa ng Department of Tourism ang blog mo.
Yun na nga. Yun natin, But, it's really sad kasi, cultural tourism is there to actually help. In fact, there have been several charters on how cultural tourism is a tool for poverty alleviation. Yun nga yung sana pwede nating gawin, lalo na sa Mindanao. We can actually start tourism programs to help with livelihood. I mean, kaya naman tayo nagkakaproblema. A lot of it has to do with the standards of living. Pag naangat natin yan, baka mag-iba yung sitwasyon doon sa Mindanao.
And of course, mga kapwa nating Pilipino, ine-encourage natin, hinihikayat natin na maging tourists in their own country.
Yes, in their own country. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. But speaking of tourists in their own country, ikaw ay nagbiyahe sa Europa just last December.
Yes, that's right.
And yung blog mo ay ivanhenares.com.
Yes.
And I'm sure ang dami-daming nakasulat dito tungkol sa iyong mga adventures sa Europe. Pero can you give us one or two that stand out right now?
Well, it was the first time that we rented the car and we drove around. I was with Brad, and we rented the car and we drove around for 2 weeks. Turns out it's actually cheap compared to train tickets. So we were able to visit 12 countries. Highlights, we got to see the richness of the heritage and architecture in Florence, in Pisa, in Rome, in Venice. Doon mo makikita how great a nation Italy is. And the way they preserve all their monuments is something that we should emulate. driving around France, you would be the villages are intact, no. They do not modernize their villages, and they earn so much from tourism, no. Dito sa Pilipinas,
Walang nuclear power plant sa tabi ng village.
wala, no. It's something that we should actually emulate. I mean, our old towns used to look like that. Like this last summer, I was also in Mexico, and you look at all the towns, no, very much intact yung mga historic cores nila. Whereas dito sa Pilipinas, we like to get rid of everything. No? We think that to move forward, we have to build buildings and
Yes.
destroy these old houses, but we're actually destroying the
Pero
potential of these
sa Europa,
places.
actually opposite yung nangyayari. Marami silang perang iginugugol sa pag-preserve
Exactly.
ng
In
kanilang
fact, it's not
heritage.
just in Europe, but even here in Asia, yung mga bansa ay talagang naglalabas ng pera for restoration. Talk about China, Japan, India, even Vietnam. No, Vietnam is becoming a power in tourism because they are capitalizing on their heritage. No, and here we are, the Philippines. We try to think Western, not realizing that why would a Westerner fly 12, 20 hours to get to the Philippines to experience what they can experience in the West. No? That's something that Filipinos have to realize. We travel because we want to experience something that we cannot find in our own countries. And if we are going to destroy that unique aspect of Filipino culture that people come to visit, we are destroying our marketability as a country. So, yun yung mga nakikita mo sa Europa, lalo na talagang umikot kami, at makikita mo everything, no, the old towns are very much intact, no, kahit saan ka pumunta, yung historic cores intact pa rin.
Okay. Actually, nung nasabi mo yon, what can you see in Manila? Kasi ang dami kasing nagtatanong sa akin, okay, taga Maynila ka, they know Boracay, alam nila yung mga beaches natin, alam nila ang Cebu, ang Bohol, pero anong makikita mo sa Manila?
Manila is actually a destination, a cultural destination that people, disregard or take for granted. You go on a food trip to Binondo, no? You walk around Intramuros, but more can be done, no? You have to see kasi underneath all that dirt, no? You will see the architecture is still there, lalo na Escolta. Napakaganda ng lugar na yan. And right now, the Heritage Conservation Society is trying to revive that area by bringing business process outsourcing dun sa lugar. No? We need people to start coming back, no, in order to revive that old district. Binondo and Santa Cruz and Malate, Intramuros, you talk about all these old districts, there are architectural gems that can be repainted, brought back to life. I'm scared right now because suddenly you have high-rise buildings sprouting all over the city of Manila. We in Paris, which is a sprawling metropolis, they don't allow high-rise buildings in the historic center.
Yes.
And,
kasi nga nakakasira ng view.
Nakakasira ng view. And here you have the city of Manila suddenly allowing buildings, no? It's a sign of progress. But no, why can France, no, for example, keep its capital city free of high-rise buildings, and they're capitalizing again on visitors. So hopefully we can understand bakit nga ginagawa nila doon yun at bakit hindi natin magawa dito. No? Kailangan maintindihan natin na we are destroying the marketability of Manila as a city. No? Lalo na't may mga gems siya na kapag lininis lang natin lugar, ayusin lang natin landscaping. Alam mo, I would think that Manila is one of the few capital cities na walang landscaping. You go to Bangkok, you go to Singapore in particular, ang ganda ng landscaping. Ayusin mo lang landscaping, Manila parang bara-bara lang yung nangyayari. No? We need professional landscape architects to actually work on Manila, and Manila will become a beautiful destination if we do that.
I love your positive attitude talaga. Okay, kanina sa intro, usually New Year's resolution nga is, I will travel to ... So, ikaw, sa dami-dami ng nabiyahe mo ng mga lugar, ano ang iyong dream destination that for 2012 you want to travel to?
Well, I was planning to go to South America for 2012.
Okay.
Hopefully, it will push through. Hindi pa natin alam kung matutuloy. But, any country, I just like visiting places that I haven't been to. Hindi talaga ako mapili. Basta may opportunity bumisita doon sa bansa na yun, pupunta ako.
And your dream destination na para mapuntahan ng bawat Pilipino dito sa ating bansa?
We have to see our UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Of course, on top of that list would be the rice terraces of the Philippine Cordillera.
Okay.
It's not the one in Banawe kasi yung sa Banawe medyo na yun na marami ng mga buildings, no, but you move out, you go to Batad, Bangaan, Mayoyaw, Hongduan, no, Nagakadan. Ito yung mga rice terraces na pristine and mafe-feel mo pa yung kultura doon. Of course, vegan is also there, no. You experience the heritage, Bohol, Cebu, no. Doon mo makikita kung ano yung ganda ng kultura ng Pilipino at it makes you proud to be Filipino.
Okay, and to mimic ang ano yung kanta? Tara na, biyahe na. Okay. Siyempre, mabilis na naman nagdaan ng kalahating oras. Nagpapasalamat kami sa ating panahuhin. Ivan, talagang isa kang walking billboard para sa para sa Philippine tourism. And sana ay marami ka pang mahikayat na makadiskubre ng ating kultura at sa pamamagitan, of course, ng turismo. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat din.
Okay, mga kaibigan, samahan ninyo kami ulit sa susunod na linggo, 3:30 ng hapon, dito lamang sa Art2art. Ito po si Lisa Macuja, nagpupugay sa artistang Pilipino at sa lahat ng Pilipinong nagmamahal sa bayan.